without further ado, let's welcome Jeff Gere.
Who? This is a European tale. It's the story of Jack and the evil mountain spirit. It begins like this. Once upon a time, there was a handsome man. Looked kind of like me. That's a joke. Once upon a time, there was a handsome man. He was a young man first, and then he got older, and he got to be a young teenage boy. Teenage boys, as they're prone to do, looked at their father and said, "Dad, yeah, I'd like to go into the world and make my fortune." "Oh, that's your first mistake, Jack. But I'll help you. I did it too. Here, this is all the gold I've got in the world. I'll give it to you. Take it with you. I hope you do better than I did. And if I ever see you again, I'll be surprised." "Thanks, Dad." Put the gold in his pocket, and he walked away. He walked up a hill, down a hill, 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 up a hill. Well, he finally came down a hill, and he came into a valley. Now, this is where the story gets a little weird, because he looked off on the side of the road, and laying there in the field, there was a dead man. Another man was walking by and said, "Excuse me, why is the dead man that's on the ground not in the ground? Dead people go in the ground. They don't go on the ground." "Well, he was a poor man. He died. We sold all of his stuff, paid back the people he owed. And there wasn't much gold left over, not enough to put the man that was on the ground in the ground. So there he is on the ground." "That's not right," said Jack. "I got a little gold, and I'll give it to you if you will put the man that's on the ground in the ground." "You got a deal." So the man dug a hole, and he put the man that was on the ground in the ground. And when he was in the ground, not on the ground, the man buried him under, so that the man that was on the ground was now in the ground. "He's in the ground now, Jack. Can you pay me?" "I can pay you." And he paid the man. The man said, "Thanks a lot, Jack. Good luck." Jack felt good. He felt what? That's right, good. And Jack walked up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill. Well, he was walking along the road, and he looked behind him. He saw a man following him, the man we call the shadowy man. He had on a big, broad-brimmed hat that went up and up and up and wide, 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 so that his face was always in shadow. He had a black shirt on, and black hands. He had on mittens, gloves, and long black pants and boots. That's why we call him the shadowy man. He was what? Shadowy man. Jack waited for him. He said, "Hi." Shadowy man said nothing. "Would you like to walk along with me?" Shadowy said nothing. "It's good to have somebody to walk along with and be friends. You can be my friend. We can walk along together, okay?" Jack went, "Come on." And together the shadowy man and Jack walked up a hill, down a hill, 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 up a hill, down a hill. Wow. This is where the story gets very strange, because they came into a town. Now, when they came into that town, there were qualities of that town that really bothered Jack. First of all, every window was broken, and all the fences were broken too, and they hadn't been mended. The gardens had not been weeded. The town seemed to have a pall, a darkness to it, and on the far mountain, far away, there was a ring of blackness around the tip of the mountain. Not only that, the people were walking around with black armbands, and they were like, Jack said, "Excuse me, why is there a ring around the mountain over there? And why is everything all busted up? And why do you have on that black armband?" "You don't know. You're new in this town. I will tell you what everyone knows. That mountain, the black cloud, in that mountain lives an evil mountain spirit. And it has put a curse on our princess. 9 times men have come. They're supposed to say what she's thinking. They do not know. They try. But when they miss their guess, her eyes go wild. The whole town is watching. Her teeth get long. She comes up and she's It sucks the blood from their bodies. Go away. Leave us alone. That is why the Weird. Let's get out of here. But then the shadowy man spoke for the first time. Jack. Yeah? Jack, go and tell the king that tomorrow you will come and tell him what he's thinking. Me tell the princess what she's... I don't know what she's thinking. You know, didn't you hear that? I don't know. I'm not going to do it. If you know, then you do it. No, Jack. I will help you. Oh, thanks. Why don't you do it? No, Jack, I'll help you. Don't you know who I am? No. I am the spirit of the man that you buried in the field. I will help this come to an end with you. Jack thought to himself, yes, no, 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 yes. So Jack walked forward through the town. Now there's a continuing section. You all sitting at home, close to your mother, I hope, will remember this. He walked through a big square. In the middle of it, there was a well. There was a what? A well. It was a big square with a well. He walked up 3 steps, opened up the big double doors, opened up the big double doors. He walked into a room that was full of columns. Then he walked down into a big room, and for some reason it was made in an oval. There were steps going up to a throne. There was a king. There were beautiful women, all dressed nicely. There were old men with their beard that circled in circles, and they had books and chewed their gums. There were warriors with lances in prominent positions. And the king said, you, who are you and what are you doing here? Hi, my name is Jack, and tomorrow I will come and tell you what the princess is thinking. No, said the king. Yes, said Jack. The pretty girl said, no. Yes. All the old men, no. No. Yes, 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 yes. And he noticed that no one was wearing masks. That evening, he found an inn. They served food. Jack and the shadowy man sat. The man that served them dinner said, oh, how are you going to know? I don't know. They walked up a double stairway, circling, winding up to their simple little room. There were 2 beds. Jack laid in bed, but he couldn't sleep very well. He was like, he didn't know what was going to happen. He was like, then he felt a hand teach him. He jumped up because there was the shadowy man. Jack, it's time to get up. You almost scared me to death. Why are you doing this? Shh, listen. Now, I don't know where he got it, but he got a bag. Out of the bag, he pulled wings. He said, well, what's this for? He says, Jack, put it on. It was like a seatbelt. He kind of put his arms in the device and he latched it. Now move your shoulders. Jack started to move his shoulders. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm flying. I can really fly. Blah, 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 blah. This is cool. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is a blast. Shh, Jack, pay attention. Next, he pulled out one of those Robin Hood hats, you know, the kind of come together like that. It's an old kind of style. It's got a little feather. Put this on. It will make you invisible. Invincible? Invisible. No one hey, I can't see my hand. What's that? Oh, that hurt. Yeah, Jack, pay attention. Tonight you will follow the princess everywhere she goes. He went over to the double doors of the little balcony. He said, that up there is the king's manor. That small balcony goes to the princess's room. Follow her everywhere she goes. Hear all things. See all things. Say nothing. Come back at the end of the night. Tell me. Good luck, Jack. If you are silent, you will survive. I'm not sure I like this story. Jack jumped on the edge of the balcony and jumped off. He flew up to the balcony of the princess. She had her doors closed. There was glass. He looked inside. Inside the room, he saw the princess. She was on one of those canopy beds with a big post, you know, with a kind of a gauzy cover, so he could see inside. She was laying on the bed. As he watched her, she rose up. She parted the curtain. Her eyes were open, but she was asleep. She walked towards the double doors. Jack went against the wall because the doors were open. She came to the edge of the balcony and she fell off. Jack jumped behind. She suddenly wasn't falling. She was like... And she started to fly by herself. And Jack jumped in behind. And they flew in a big circle around the sleeping town. And they flew in a big circle over the sleeping farmland. And they flew towards the big mountain with the black cloud. And as they got closer, Jack could see lightning and hear thunder. And they flew and they flew and they ended up going into a giant cave. Jack thought they were going to crash into the mountain, but they went through it, and there were stalactites and stalagmites. They flew around those intrusions until they came to a tunnel, and the tunnel went down, 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 down into the very heart of the mountain. The princess pulled up. She said, "I am here, master." Jack didn't know what to do, but he could smell something foul. And then he could see something moving in the darkness, something hideous, something dark and huge. It's starting to move closer and closer. It had huge wings. It had eyes of red that were glowing. It had a long snout. Jack jumped behind something he saw. It was like a table, but as he looked closer, it wasn't just a table. It was an altar. You know what an altar is? It's like where the holy things in the church happen. It was one of those tables, but it was dirty. Hadn't been used in a long time. But he jumped behind it because it was clear that there was coming closer the evil mountain. What is coming? Again? Say, what are you thinking? When he comes, say what am I thinking? Think of your father's white horse. And when he cannot now go. Jack was so scared, he peed in his pants. He didn't say a word. He bit his tongue. The princess, "Yes, master." And she turned and started to fly up through that long tunnel from the heart of the mountain. And Jack jumped in, and they flew. They flew. And they flew across the sleeping town. They flew back to the top of the palace, and the princess went to her room. And Jack flew over. They told the shadowy man everything he had seen and heard. And the shadowy man said, "Good, Jack. You did well. And tomorrow you will tell princess what she's thinking. Jack said, I'm not sure I like this story. They went to sleep. And that's the end of part 1 of 4 parts. In the morning, Jack got up. He put on his clothes. He walked through the town. He came to the big square with the well. He walked up the steps. He walked in the room with all the pillars, columns. He walked down the stairs into that oval room. Up the stairs, there was, and all the townspeople too, because they were all wanted to see what would happen. They were afraid of what could happen. They'd seen it happen before. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Jack said, in order for this to work, I need you all to help me. He had planned this. Put on your masks. And all the people did. They were still holding their breath. It was a little harder to breathe, but it's okay. It's not that hard. The princess was sitting down from where the king sat on a little chair. Your name is Jack? Oh, Jack. Can you tell me what I'm thinking? I'm afraid. Yes, I can tell you. You're thinking of your father's white horse. Yes, yes, Jack. Oh. She started to run away. She went. Oh. All the people went, whoa! They started to take off their masks. He said, don't take off your mask. They said, whoa! Yeah. Whoa, Jack, how'd you know? What did they say? I can't tell. How'd you know? I can't tell. How'd you know? I can't tell. How'd you know? No, I can't tell. Jack put on his mask. He walked through the town. He walked through the town. All kinds of people came up and said, how'd you know, Jack? He said, I can't tell. That night at dinner, they had to take off their masks in order to eat. How'd you know, Jack? They walked up the stairs to go to their room. Jack laid in his bed. He could see even more clearly the face, the eyes, the tongue, the cheeks, the jowls of the evil. Jack, get up. We've got work to do. Would you knock that off? You almost scared me half to death. Jack, here are the wings. Put on the wings. This is cool. Jack, pay attention. The hat. Yeah, invisible. It really works. Jack, tonight, here. He pulled out of the bag, which I don't know how he got it, but he got it, a baton, a little bat. Here, Jack, take the bat. Yeah, okay, well, what do I do with the bat? Hit the princess in the head with the bat as often as you can. You want me to hit her in the head with that? Ow, it really hurts. It'll shake the spell off of her. Now, never mind, we can't talk. Open the double doors. Follow wherever she goes. See all things, hear no things. Say nothing or you will die. Good luck, Jack. So, up to the window. Again, the princess in her bed. You can help me if you remember. Open the Jack against the wall. And the two began to fly around the sleeping town, around the sleeping farmland, closer and closer to the evil mountain spirit. And the ring, which was now erupting, he could see fire sparking and swirling. There was a great cloud burst. Thunder was going on. They flew flyer, closer and closer to the big hole. They blew through those mountains, deep inside of the mountain, inside of the mountain. Inside of the mountain, they went down, 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 down. Jack behind. Down, 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 until they came into the very heart of the mountain. Now again, the princess. Yes, master. Jack looked up. Last night he didn't see it because, well, there were only stars. But as he looked up tonight, he could see a hole. And the hole in the top of the mountain showed him moonlight. There was more light. Jack could smell it. Then he could hear it. He jumped behind, but the altar had changed too. The altar was clean. And don't ask me how in the middle of a European story there's this puffer fish, you know, the pokey fish that blows up with all the spikes. You touch it, it's poisonous. There was one of those fish on top of the altar. Jack just noticed it because he didn't have any time, because coming closer and closer, and he could see it clearer and clearer, was the evil mountain spirit. I want his. Tonight, when he comes, ask him what's on my feet, and think of your father's baby soup. And when he cannot, I want to taste blood. Now go. Yes, master. And she turned. Jack, psst. As she started to fly, he jumped in behind her. And he remembered the baton. And he began boom, 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 boom. He hit her in the head. And as he flew, and it was. He was hitting her in the head, up through the tube, up through the dark cave with the stalactites and stalagmites, until they burst through the bridge, blew through the village. And she went back to her room. Jack flew back to his. He told the shadowy man everything he had seen, heard. The shadowy man said, "Good job. Tomorrow you will tell the princess where she's staying for the second of 3 times." And that's the end of part 2. In the morning, Jack woke up. He woke up. He put on his clothes. He walked through the town. He came to the big square with the well. He walked up the steps. He walked through the room with the pillars. He walked down the steps into the oval room, up the stairs. There was and all the townspeople. By now, they had gotten used to it. They wanted to support Jack, so they all had on their masks to keep infection and trouble away. Jack had on his mask, and the princess said, "Hello, Jack." I think it's Jack. Yeah, it's me. Tell me, Jack, what am I thinking? He said, "Yes, you're thinking of your father's gleaming sword." "Yes, that's true. Oh, Jack, swear to me that you'll come tomorrow. Swear that you'll come tomorrow. Oh, 3 times. Oh, Jack, please." Oh, a kiss. All the people in the town went, because they had on their masks. Jack said, they said, "How'd you know, Jack?" He says, "I can't tell you." "How'd you know, Jack?" "I can't tell you." "How do you know, Jack?" "I can't tell you." It went on all day. 2 times he had guessed. Only one left. Walked through the town. People held their babies up for a kiss through his mask. People were starting to weed their gardens. People were starting to fix their little yards, the windows. It seemed even that the little ring around the mountain was a little less dense. That night, the innkeeper served the food. "How'd you know, Jack?" "Can't tell you." Shadowy man, of course, said nothing. After they ate their meal, they went quietly up the stairway to go to sleep. Jack was in his bed, of course. He could see evil mountain spirit. Ah! Oh, would you cut that out? Jack, we've got work to do. He pulled out the wings. Yeah, I know. It's cool. Jack, the hat. Yeah, I know. Still works. And the baton. Yeah. Ow. It's really hard. Jack, one more thing. Tonight's the night. What do you mean? Jack. He reached into the bag and he pulled out a knife, a little blade. He said, put it under your belt. Yeah, okay, but what do I do? Shh, I can't tell you. Yeah, Jack, take this bag. Okay, put it in the belt. Yeah, but what do I do? I can't tell you, Jack. Tonight, a moment will come. You have heard, you have seen, the moment will come. If you act, you will end the curse. But if you do not, no one will ever see you again. And there is no hope for that princess. Pay attention. Oh, I'm paying attention. Jack, good luck. He went to the window. He looked inside. There was the princess. You know what to do. Open the door. And again, Jack hit her on the head. Around the town, across the fields, they went to the mountain there. On top of the mountain, there was thunder, lightning, and a thunderbolt. Lava was coming down. Ah! The mountain was shaking. They hit the mountain. They hit inside the cave. Stalactites. And they went down into the very heart of the mountain. As before, the princess. Yes, master, I am here. Jack saw more clearly. He looked up because there was the hole. Not stars, not the moon. Don't ask me how, but in this dream, in this sequence, in this story, in the middle of the night, in the hole in the mountain, the sun was shining in, so that clear as day, Jack could see coming towards him the evil mountain spirit. He ducked behind the clean altar pokey fish, but tonight, when he went there, he saw in the sky, spinning over the altar, all by itself, floating and spinning, there was a wheel. And the spinning wheel over the altar that had the pokey fish, the wheel in spin, in floating there, was on fire. Fire! Now, Jack could see clearly. Big wings, the flaming eyes, the drooling teeth. Yes! Tonight, I think, what am I thinking? And think of my things. So that nothing alive can imagine it. And we cannot guess. Give me his blood. Go! Be gone! The evil mountain spirit was closer to the altar table than ever before. Be gone! Jack pulled out the knife blade. It was already in the air by the time the evil mountain spirit looked to his side. Too late. For already the sword was coming down on the edge of his neck. The head fell to one side. The body reeled. The blood was green and it smoked. Jack couldn't wait long. He took his sword, stuck it in the eye of the evil mountain spirit's head, put it in the bag, tied the top, stuck it under his belt, and the princess, I am going, master. Hit her in the head. Up through the tunnel. Up through the quake. The stalagmite. Out through the mountain. Behind him, Jack was flying, hitting her in the head. He looked behind him and the entire mountain exploded. Jack went back to his bed. She went to her bedroom. He went to the bedroom, told the shadowy man everything he had seen, heard, done. The shadowy man said, tell no one. Tomorrow we will finish this. And that's the end of part 3. Here comes part 4. In the morning, Jack got up. He put on his clothes. He walked out of the town and through the town. Nobody was there. He walked through the empty courtyard with the well, up the double steps, opened up the big doors. There was the town full of the columns and pillars. Down the side, there was the oval room, the steps going up to the crown, the women, the old men, the guards, the people, all of them. Down the steps, sitting on a small little stool, was the princess. Hello, Jack. Oh, I hope you can tell me what I'm thinking and break the spell. What am I thinking, Jack? No way. Jack said, yes, there is a way. And you're thinking of the evil mountain spirit's head, but it's so horrible no one can imagine it. And he opened up the bag that he had and he let the head come out. It rolled between her legs. She faded away. All the people in the town went, all you people go, no, it was louder than that. They're really afraid. Everybody, they all screamed. The king said, get that thing out of here. Get that thing out of here. The guard came over with a long pike, stuck it in the head, picked up the head of the evil mountain spirit, ran it outside, threw it in the well. It fumed and smoked, stinky green smoke, for 3 days until finally the king had ordered that the well be broken down, a giant boulder be rolled. And if you go to that village today, that old German script can tell you the story of Jack and the evil mountain spirit, which I've just told to you. Also, it drooled green blood, which stained and ate into the stone. Well, the king finally said, I think they should be married, Jack and the princess. Everybody said, good idea. Everybody said, what? So the next day there was a ceremony. Jack said, I do. She said, me too. And they went like this. Oh, there was a big banquet. There was all kinds of feasting, food for everybody in the whole community. Old women ate too much and fell asleep in their chairs. Old men drank too much and fell asleep under the tables. The higher society upstairs danced and danced and danced and danced. And finally, Jack said, time to go to bed. Put out his hand. The princess said, wow. Put her hand in his. And the two of them, they walked up the spiral staircase to their private bedchamber together. Old men saluted. Old women cried. They walked into the room. Now, there is a part I haven't told you yet, which was during all the festivities, the shadowy man said, Jack, yeah? That'll be the end of it. Now I will go away. And he walked out of the story, and we never hear from him again. Jack had followed good advice, and he had put at the bottom of his bed, in the room where they were going for the first time, you'd call it a vat or a bathtub, a big container, big, of water. Jack sat on one side of the bed with the water at the base of the bed. He was looking at the princess. He was a little nervous. The princess was on the other side of the bed. She was nervous too. Suddenly, Jack jumped up. He picked up the princess and threw her into the vat of water. She went into the vat of water, a princess, but she came out of the vat of the water as a black crow. Caw, 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 caw. He caught the crow. He threw the crow into the water. She went into the water, a black crow, but came out of the water a white dove. Coo, 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 coo. He caught the dove. He threw the white dove in the water. It went into the water, a white dove, but it came out of the water a wet young woman. The princess was now washed, cleaned of all the shards, the last embers of that evil curse that made her kill men. And she said, "Thank you for putting your masks on, everybody." And they entered into a life together that was rich and happy and full of justice for all the people that lived under their caring eye. And that is the story of Jack and the evil mountain spirit and the end of our session for today.